Chances are if you're looking at buying a new TV today, you're looking at a 4K set. I'm Erin for Best Buy Canada's blog, and 4K TV is of course the clearest, sharpest, and highest resolution TV you can get today. The LG 4K HDR LED webOS smart TV that's here behind me is one that has all of those features and more. I recently had a chance to spend about a week with this TV here in my home for testing and review, and here's what I learned firsthand. Setting up this TV basically involves attaching the feet, plugging it in, and then connecting your components. Easy. This model, by the way, is 43UK6500 in case you want to look it up later. Initially, I couldn't figure out how to change the input on the TV. Finally, I realized the input button is a tiny button on the remote control up near the top that's vaguely shaped like a plug. Seems to me every other television manufacturer uses the word input on the remote for clarity, but not LG. This LG TV has 4K resolution and HDR support. Now, of course, as we talked about briefly off the top, 4K is a much higher resolution video. It's got millions more pixels in the video picture than traditional HD, which makes it clearer, sharper, brighter, and more realistic. Now, HDR has to do with color and light and how that's replicated in a screen. It basically allows the brighter parts of the screen to be brighter, the darker parts to be darker, and the colors to be more accurately represented, and provides you with more natural gradation in a picture than traditional HD sets. The TV uses something called webOS, which is LG's proprietary TV software. It's basically the brains inside the TV that lets you control its many functions. It's simple to operate. You just hit the home button and pull up that menu, then click on what you want. Of course, you can also connect other peripherals like an LG Blu-ray player here, or something like a streaming TV device like Roku TV or Apple TV, depending on how you prefer to get your content. This 4K LG TV has 4 HDMI inputs, and the way they're designed is interesting and smart, I think. There are 2 in the side and 2 in the back, so you've got options for where to plug your components in. There's a few things you're going to need to view 4K video properly and at optimum resolution. The first thing is a 4K TV, but the other thing you'll need to make sure you have is dedicated 4K content. Many streaming channels like Netflix and YouTube will mark the content as 4K or allow you to search for dedicated 4K content. If you're watching content that's only HD on a 4K TV, you won't be getting the most out of it. And if you're using an external streaming device like Apple TV or Chromecast or Roku, you'll need to make sure those devices are also dedicated 4K gadgets. I tested out this LG TV in the main floor living room of my home, and it's definitely the brightest room in the house. It gets a lot of natural light. And therein lies my problem, is that I found the TV had a really difficult time competing with the ambient light in this room. I found the screen to be hugely reflective during the day, so much so in some scenes I could see my white dog's reflection clearer than the characters on the screen. This TV also struggles mightily with dark scenes. I watched several episodes of the dystopian drama The Rain on Netflix, which is set in a dimly lit future. It was nearly impossible to see the subtleties or enough gradation to discern what was going on in some of the video. In bright daylight scenes, the TV was just fine for the most part, but I think it's pretty unrealistic to expect you're only going to use this for watching sunshiny, happy, bright cartoons. Viewing the video straight on, the quality was pretty good, but when I'd move off to either side to see what it was like to watch it at an angle, I have to say I noticed the picture darkening and it wasn't quite as clear, sharp, or bright as it is watching it straight on. Having tested several 4K HDR TVs in my home recently, I know how stunning they could be, but I just wouldn't describe this TV's picture as stunning. It's really just fine. Considering it has a much lower price point than, say, the Samsung Frame TV I reviewed in this same room, for example, you probably shouldn't expect the same 5-star experience. I don't think this TV is as bright as it could be or as I'd like it to be. I did go into the settings and noodle around and found that I could adjust the settings for a bright room or a dark room, so I did set it for a bright room, but in truth it made no noticeable difference for me. Overall, I have to say I was pretty disappointed in the picture quality of this TV. I found the replication of those dark or nighttime scenes to be generally pretty poor, and that the TV overall had a tough time competing with ambient light. I could find some pros. I liked the slim bezel design around it. I thought the webOS interface was pretty easy to use. But for me, since watching a TV is all about the video quality and I was pretty disappointed with it, for that reason, I'm not going to recommend it. If you want to read more, including a lot more detail than I can provide in this video review, head over to blog.bestbuy.ca where we've got a full write-up. You can post any questions you have either there or, of course, here on the YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it and found it helpful, please hit that like button and consider subscribing, since it helps me keep making more videos that I hope you all can watch and enjoy. I'm Erin. Catch me on Twitter or Instagram. Until the next time, you can find me at ErinLYYC.